Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a good day. And this is What If Deku was Liu Kang's reincarnation. Liu Kang is the chosen one in Mortal Kombat. So basically right now in Mortal Kombat 11, he's the fire and thunder god. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right into the intro.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Okay guys, I hope you guys liked that intro. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right into it. So we start off our story with Liu Kang molding the sands of time. As he's doing this, he didn't realize that Kronika had another form. As she gets up and she stabs Liu Kang straight through the chest. As Liu Kang's bleeding out, Raiden sees this, runs in and punches Kronika in the face, knocking her out. As Raiden falls to the ground, seeing that his successor just died. As Raiden started crying, he sees that Liu Kang's soul is escaping his body going to the nether realm. So he stops it and makes a portal to a different realm that he doesn't know of. As Raiden sees this, he realizes that this is the hero realm, as he sends Liu Kang's soul through the hero realm. As Liu Kang was traveling through the realm, he finds baby Izuku's body, as he feels a weird connection to it. As he enters the body, he realizes that Izuku is the chosen one of this realm. So Liu Kang decides that he's gonna pass on his powers to Izuku and train him to become the champion of this realm. As Izuku was growing up, he was much more disciplined and calm than any other kid his age. As the teachers were confused at how Izuku acts, because he doesn't act like any other kid. As the teachers wonder what Izuku really is. And Bakugo never liked Izuku because Izuku was much more calmer and more disciplined, and he acted like he was better than everyone. But Izuku in reality wasn't, he was just acting in his regular way, as Bakugo didn't like Izuku one bit. The same day that Bakugo got his quirk, he knew what he had to do, as he made tiny explosions in his hands and walked up to Izuku, as he told Izuku that they're gonna fight now. As Izuku gets up and chuckles, asking Kachan if he's serious. As Kachan nods, as Izuku puts out his hands and tells Bakugo to come and fight him. As Bakugo rushes at Izuku with an explosion straight at Izuku's face. But Izuku was still unfazed, as he just dodged the attack and grabbed Bakugo's hand and threw him across the playground. As Bakugo lands, he gets up grabbing his shoulder, as he asks Izuku how he was able to do that. As Izuku answers Bakugo by just shrugging his shoulders, telling him that he doesn't know. As Bakugo gets angry at this, he knows that he needs to train, as he snarls at Izuku and leaves. As Izuku goes home that day, he goes to his room and starts to sleep. As he's sleeping, Liu Kang appears in his mindscape and starts to explain to Izuku and who he is. As Izuku doesn't know what's going on, he gets into a fighting stance, about to fight Liu Kang. But Izuku was confused in why he got into a fighting stance. He never even knew how to do this. As Izuku's wondering what's going on, Liu Kang starts to explain to Izuku, telling him that he's his reincarnation and that he's going to be passing on his powers to him. As Izuku's just confused, he asks Liu Kang why and how he picked his body. As Liu Kang starts to explain, telling him that he picked his body because he's the chosen one of this realm. As Izuku asks how he knows that he's the chosen one. As Liu Kang starts to explain, telling Izuku that a chosen one knows a chosen one. As Izuku asks what he has to do now. As Liu Kang explains to Izuku, telling him, when I pass on my powers to you, I want you to learn how to use them, and I will train you in your mindscape, but you're going to have to do the same training in real life to get the real world training. As Izuku nods, accepting Liu Kang's offer. As Izuku trains with Liu Kang and how and what he needs to do, Liu Kang tells Izuku that it's time, as he touches Izuku's shoulders and passes on his power. As Izuku wakes up that day, he looks at his hands and he turns on his flames as his hands become covered in fire. As Izuku starts screaming, thinking that it might burn, but then he realizes that it doesn't hurt at all. As Inko hears Izuku screaming, she rushes into the room asking why he's screaming. But then, she sees that Izuku's hands are on fire and realizes that Izuku must have manifested his quirk. As she walks up to Izuku and asks him if he's able to turn off those flames. As Izuku closes his eyes and concentrates, as his flames dissipate. As Inko sighs, she tells Izuku that it's probably time to go to the quirk doctor. As Izuku nods. As they get to the quirk doctor starts to examine Izuku and asks Izuku and how he's able to use his flames. As Izuku just bobs his head, not knowing what he means. As the quirk doctor starts to explain, telling Izuku that he doesn't have a quirk. As the quirk doctor repeats his question, asking Izuku and how he's able to use his flames. But then Inko walks in, asking what was going on. As the doctor sits Inko down, telling her that Izuku shouldn't be able to use a quirk, but somehow he's able to. As Inko is just confused what the doctor is saying, the doctor starts to explain, telling her that Izuku has a joint in his pinky toe, and that means that they're quirkless. As Inko's confused what the doctor means. But then the doctor continues, telling them that this might be a new breed of humans, that they still have their joint in their pinky toe, but they also develop a quirk. As the quirk doctor starts screaming in the air, saying that he found a new breed of humans. As the quirk doctor asks if he can run a few more tests. As the quirk doctor finishes running his test, he says that this might be true, and that Izuku could probably be a new species of humans. As the doctor starts to cheer again, Izuku interrupts him, telling him that he also has a lightning power. As the doctor stopped cheering and looked at Izuku confused. But then, the doctor asked Izuku to show him, but Izuku said that he's unable to use it. As the doctor says that he can't classify it part of his quirk if he's unable to show him. As Izuku sighs and says that's okay. But then, Inko starts talking, telling Izuku that it's probably time to go. As Izuku nods and is about to leave. But then, the quirk doctor continues, telling Izuku that his name of his quirk is called Fire Fist, and he's going to be classified as a new breed. As Izuku nods, as they all carry on with their day. As Izuku's driving in the car, Liu Kang appears, telling Izuku that he apologizes for not giving Izuku the lightning ability. But Izuku's not ready for that ability just yet, and that he'll give him the ability when he's ready. As Izuku says that it's alright and that he understands. As Izuku from then on learns from Liu Kang how to use his fire and is able to shape it and form it in different ways. As Izuku is able to make fireballs and spin his fire around. As he's able to control it like he's a firebender. As Liu Kang is impressed at Izuku's skills. But not only did Izuku learn how to use his powers, Liu Kang also taught him how to do martial arts. As Izuku gained experience from fighting Liu Kang in his mindscape, as Izuku was able to recreate this in the real world. But one day, as Izuku was training, Liu Kang tells Izuku that there's probably a guardian in this realm, and that he probably knows about all the other realms, so they should be in contact with that guardian. As Liu Kang searches through his mind and contacts Raiden, as Raiden sees that Liu Kang is okay and thanks the Elder Gods. As Liu Kang asks Raiden where the guardian of this realm is. As Raiden starts searching through and asks the Elder Gods, as the Elder Gods say that the guardian of that earth is All Might. As Liu Kang tells this to Izuku and asks Izuku if he knows this person. As Izuku answers, telling Liu Kang that that's the #1 hero and that he looks up to him. As Liu Kang tells Izuku that he also looked up to Raiden. As Liu Kang chuckles. As Izuku then asks Liu Kang and how he's supposed to find All Might. As Liu Kang tells Izuku that fate will take its place, and him and All Might will meet. So now, we time skip to the start of the anime, where Izuku's just sitting in his class and minding his own business. As the teacher walks in and starts to say that he knows that everyone wants to be heroes, as he throws the papers into the air. As everyone starts to show off their quirks except for Izuku and Bakugo. Then, the teacher starts to explain which high school that everyone's going. Then he says that, I see that Izuku wants to go to UA, and he continues by saying that he also sees that Bakugo wants to go to UA, as Bakugo looks at Izuku and snarls. As Bakugo's thinking to himself, wondering why Izuku has to go to the same school as him. As the day ends, Bakugo walks up to Izuku and asks Izuku why he's going there, as Izuku says that it's the #1 school for heroes, and that he needs to train there. As Bakugo looks at him and was about to throw an explosion but controls himself, as Bakugo walks away. But Bakugo's actually been training. He's actually been learning some martial arts and has been training on his quirk, as he's been able to train his quirk very well, as he's able to make like big explosions. But he's still like pretty far away from his like regular canon self at the like forced training camp arc. But since Bakugo's been training and he's been working on himself, he also learned martial arts. So he's learned how to calm himself down and he's disciplined himself. So Bakugo's much more like calmer in this what if. So Bakugo keeps on talking to Izuku, as he tells Izuku that he won't let him surpass him. As Izuku looks at Bakugo and chuckles, as Izuku says that he'll see. As Bakugo repeats Izuku's words, saying that we'll see. As Izuku wanting to go train early after what Bakugo said, he takes a shortcut and goes under a bridge. But Izuku was about to cross the other side. The sludge villain pops out of the drain and is about to attack Izuku. As he did a punch at Izuku with his sludge, Izuku just dodged it as he just tilted his head as he kept on walking. As the sludge villain kept on attacking Izuku, but Izuku kept on dodging. As he told the sludge villain that he was done playing his games, as Izuku turned around and put his hands on fire, as he punched the sludge villain, as the sludge villain blew back everywhere. But then All Might arrives, seeing all the fire, as he yells, "I'm here!" as he sees Izuku's hands on fire, as he punched the sludge villain everywhere. As All Might starts to tell Izuku that he's very impressed, as Izuku starts fanboying out a bit, but not too much. As All Might says that he needs to go now, as he picks the sludge villain in a bottle and jumps up into the air. But Izuku had to talk to All Might a bit more, as he grabs onto All Might's legs, but using his flames he starts flying. As All Might tells Izuku that they need to land on a roof right now. As All Might lands on a roof, and so does Izuku. As All Might starts to yell at Izuku, telling him that was very dangerous, and if he didn't have his flames, he could have died. But Izuku was apologizing to All Might and is about to tell him why he did it. But then, All Might forgot about his timer and poofed. As All Might poofed, and he became into his skinny form. As Izuku sees this, he thinks that this is an imposter and lights his hands on fire as he's about to fight All Might. But then All Might assures him, telling him that he's the real All Might, as he starts to explain his injury. As Izuku learns about this, Izuku starts apologizing for his obedience, as All Might says that it's okay, but then, all of a sudden, a loud explosion, bigger than the regular cannon one, appears, as Izuku knows that explosion is Bakugo's, as he jumps off the building and starts running toward the explosion. As Izuku gets there, he sees Bakugo trapped by the sludge villain. As Izuku realizes what happened, he knows he has to save Bakugo, as he runs in and starts punching the sludge villain as Bakugo's putting more and more explosions. As the sludge villain was coming off, Izuku knew that he needed to do a huge fire punch, as Izuku lifted up his hands and punched the sludge villain, as the sludge villain blew back, as Bakugo was still unscathed, but he told Izuku that was very dangerous, as Izuku chuckled, telling him that he was sorry, and saying that Bakugo would have been fine. But before Izuku could keep on talking to Bakugo, Liu Kang interrupts him, telling Izuku that, okay guys, I think this is where I'm going to leave the what if off for now. If you guys like this what if, and if you guys, want a part 2, don't forget to, subscribe, like, and comment, and the regular stuff. And don't forget to join my Discord. That's where you guys can talk to me, have, good ideas, I'll do them. And other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys later.